Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Okay, so I'm finally releasing a video on this Austin Metcalf Carmelo Anthony story, this tragic incident of senseless violence that transpired a couple days ago. And of course, I know I'm late to the frenzy, but I held off on covering this story purposely, as I do a lot of the times with stories like this. Not because it didn't matter, not because it isn't serious, but to be honest, because my first instinct was rather emotional and rage-fueled. And look, rage doesn't make for clear analysis. You know, on my X account, sure, I'm going to put out my raw thoughts, my gut reaction, but on the YouTube channel, I try to be a little bit more deliberate with the work that I do. I want to make sure that I'm breaking things down with clarity and full context, and so I waited for a couple days, and now, well, we've got the full police report, and the facts have been laid bare. I've had time to read the entire thing, to gather my thoughts, and now we can finally talk about what allegedly happened here. And yeah, it's pretty bad. It's just as disturbing as we initially thought. I know there's a lot of people on the other side of this conversation who seem to think that this police report somehow exonerates this little violent thug, but I'd say it does quite the opposite. Let's go ahead and talk about this, and really with an emphasis on Carmelo Anthony's defense here. He's claiming self-defense. Let's see if it holds up, shall we? We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so basically we know that witnesses are telling us that this Carmelo Anthony character was sitting under the tent that belonged to Austin Metcalf and his friends. He was not invited in that space, he was not part of that group, and so he was asked to leave. He repeatedly refused, and then eventually, Austin Metcalf attempted to physically move him, and according to the police report, Carmelo Anthony says he warned him saying, "Don't put your hands on me," but Austin did in fact put his hands on him. But from what we understand, he tried to physically move him, possibly push him, but he didn't throw a punch, he didn't tackle him. There's no testimony, there's nobody saying that Austin Metcalf was threatening him physically, and according to the police report, it seems as though it's described in a way where the moment Austin put his hands on Carmelo, that's when he immediately reached into his bag, pulled out a knife, and stabbed him in the frickin' heart. Let that sink in for a second. Nobody jumped him, nobody threatened his life. There's no witness account of people surrounding him, holding weapons, or threatening his life. From what we understand, he was simply told to leave. He refused, and the moment hands were placed on him, he went in for the kill. No warning, no attempt to de-escalate the situation, just straight to lethal force. And shortly after, it seems according to the report, police were basically across the street. They got on the scene extremely fast, and according to them, Carmelo Anthony distanced himself from the victim, remained calm, totally complied with the police officers, and then made a very shocking admission. According to the report, he immediately told police, quote, "I was protecting myself," and at one point when one of the officers on scene referred to him as the alleged suspect, Anthony then corrected him by saying, "I'm not alleged, I did it." So I guess we've already got an uncoerced confession. It's a clean confession. He admits to what is, in my view, gruesome, unjustified, lethal force murder. And it seems like his strategy was to remain calm, and once the police officers get him on scene, to make this half-baked claim of self-protection. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not buying it, not even a bit. If you look at the mugshot, I see no injuries, no bruises, no signs that he was physically attacked, just a clean face and lifeless eyes. He wasn't hurt, he wasn't under threat, he didn't attempt to back off and was then chased. No, it seems as though he simply had a bruised ego, he was caught up playing tough guy. He decided to escalate that confrontation and simply waited for an excuse to pull out a lethal weapon, a deadly weapon, and then stabbed a kid in the heart, killing him nearly instantly. In my view, based on the information we have so far, based on the police report, and based on the witness testimonies that we've seen in the media, this wasn't self-defense, this was an act of unmitigated evil. And now, of course, we get to the even more disgusting part, a good chunk of the online reaction. The way parts of the black community have rallied around Carmelo Anthony like he's some sort of hero, a victim.
They both jumped him, which means both of them put their hands on him. They even touched his backpack and was trying to remove him, and he defended himself.
When it comes to this Carmelo Anthony situation, all I gotta say is teach your kids to leave people the alone. You don't know what type of day they have. You don't know what they got going on at home. Teach your kids to leave other kids alone.
I sit down. Somebody come over to me and tell me, get the up. I done packed some shit in my bag just in case a motherfucker pop slick, and it look like a motherfucker going to pop slick right now. The way it go around here, if it look like they're gonna beat up on somebody, you stand there to make sure they don't. If you can tell this it will never be a fair draw, you got to jump him. That's not self-defense, it's gotta be self-defense. He was trying to beat me up and I put him to sleep.
Are we learning the consequences of assaulting people? Are we learning that if we're somewhere out in public and you grip someone up and tell them to get out their seat, that's assault and this is what could happen?
Austin Metcalf, seen on the right, was a violent thug who got what he deserved. He attacked Carmelo Anthony at a high school game. Carmelo took out a knife and he defended himself, and he got Austin Metcalf in his heart. And for the white Americans who are triggered about this, you're really triggered because a black American is using the stand your ground defense, something you've abused for a very long time.
Yeah, the standard seems to be, you shouldn't have gotten in his personal space. You shouldn't have asked him to leave or put your hands on him, because the moment you do that, I guess it's justified to stab somebody in the chest. I mean, it's mind-blowing. It's not exactly surprising, but it certainly is baffling. And some of these idiotic whataboutism claims that are being pulled up here, we got a lot of people making comparisons to Kyle Rittenhouse and Daniel Penny, but there's obviously no comparison. Kyle Rittenhouse was chased by rioters. He was hit with a skateboard. He was shot at. He had a gun pointed to his face at point-blank range. And the entire time, he was running away. He wasn't refusing to run away. He wasn't standing up and pretending to be a tough guy as he invaded other people's personal space. He was trying to run, and he only fired shots at the absolute last second. Meanwhile, this Carmelo Anthony kid had hands placed on him, and he immediately responded by stabbing someone viciously in the chest. The situations aren't even remotely similar. One was clear self-defense under attack, and the other was ego-fueled rage that ended in bloody murder. And once again, we're in one of these situations where we see huge portions of the black community, in my view, refusing to confront what is right in front of them. A culture of impulsive violence. What we are seeing is yet again the refusal to take responsibility. It's always somebody else's fault, right? It's always the system. It's not our fault. It's the white man's fault. It's the CIA's fault. It's the police forces. Never the individual, never the choices, never the culture. I mean, we're seriously supposed to believe that this kid was defending himself? We're supposed to feel sympathy because his pride got hurt and he couldn't walk away from the situation without murdering somebody in cold blood? Give me a break. This wasn't a situation of survival or protecting oneself. This was pure brutality and rage. Austin Metcalf is dead today because a violent punk couldn't handle being told to leave a space that he was not supposed to be in. And if you're defending that, you are complicit in enabling a culture of violence. And the worst part is, it's a culture of violence that's more detrimental to the black community than any other community. You know, a lot of people are talking about black versus white violence, but at the end of the day, the violence of this culture is more so focused inward. Young black men killing other young black men. We got to be able to have this conversation. I mean, it's time to start accepting reality. How many more people need to die before we start acknowledging the elephant in the room? Anyways, that's pretty much it. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.